Okay, thank you very much for our guest speaker. We have Architect Wong, the first speakers, and Mr. Yip Ken Seng, okay, our second speakers for today, for coming willing to spare your times, right? Yeah, while you are working during these hours. Yeah, so thank you so much for your willingness to join our lecture input, okay, become our guest speakers and benefits our students today. Yeah, for your informations, we have around 96, okay, of our CAT and BEAM students. So all of them are actually from year 3, okay, who is stacking the CAT and BEAM subjects lah. So they are learning about the Revit software, and in the same time, they're also being exposed to the BEAM, okay, technologies, okay, in this subject. So today is week 5 for all the students, okay. They have presented their Revit tutorials from last 2 weeks. Okay, so today is considered one of the lecture input for them to have a break lah. Okay, before they resume the other two tutorials. So here comes our architect Wong as well as Mr. Yip. Okay, for sharing about the knowledge in the BIM industry, especially from the industry aspect lah, for our students to open up their eyes and having steps or a closest knowledge about what is beams actually. Yeah, so probably without further ado, okay, so maybe let me trying to have a very short introductions about architect Wong first, Wong Teck Yong. Okay, architect Wong Teck Yong, basically both of them are my cosmet, okay, or friends lah during my students years. So thank you for attending this virtual lecture input. And architect Wong basically he was graduated from UTM, okay, architecture background as well. After that, he's working as an architect in Singapore. So currently he's a QP, okay, in Singapore, as well as the lecturers in Temasek Polytechnic as well. So if you guys you know that we also having collaborations with Temasek Polytechnic in the competitions, right? Once of a few of your seniors have been joining the friends from Temasek University or Polytechnic, okay, in order to participate in the competition. So they just newly or recently have won the competition. So in the future, we hope that we have more collaborations as well lah. Okay, with our partners, okay, alumni as well in Temasek Polytechnic. So without further ado, maybe now let me introduce the topics, okay, of architect Wong as being stated, okay, in the WhatsApp that I have shared. The topic would be BIM adoptions and digital transformations. Okay, without further ado, maybe let me pass the flows to architect Wong. Architect Wong, do you mind to share the screens on your slide first before you
Yeah,
proceed?
okay.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, second. This is the first time using Webex.
Oh, yeah, maybe you can hover your mouse to the bottom. You can see there is a share
Yeah, share,
buttons.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
so you can
Share.
share either
I
presentation
click.
or screen. Yeah,
Okay.
so you can choose one of it lah. If you are using PowerPoint, you can click on the PowerPoint buttons.
Okay, sure. Can see?
It's sharing now. Okay. Yeah, so you can try to set
Okay.
to the presentation mode.
Okay, sure. Give me a second.
Mhm.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Uh, um, for today, I will be sharing, wait, see something very irritating from here. Okay, let me start quickly with introduce you all with the topics today on BIM adoption and the digital transformation. Okay, uh, I think just now Dr. Lang already introduced, so I will most likely skip this one. And yeah, so I joined Temasek Poly, I think 3 years back lah. Then at the same time, I also doing project because being a certified QP in Singapore, so we can do a project concurrently in Singapore. And yeah, Give me a second. Oh, this one, no need. So, maybe I introduce a little bit more on project-wise. So previously, when I'm in practice, with architect firms, so I do a lot of like most of the project that I did is the institutional project lah. And then I do a lot of like secret and confidential project, which is like all those prisons and police headquarters. And then I do a lot of like overseas project, China. I do one in Sabah before as well at the design impian developments. I don't know what is the status now. And then I did also office project. So later I will link all these project to related to BIM and how they evolve from the old times. And then I basically break into three parts, and then I will intro a little bit on the project first, and after that, I will go into the skill sets in BIMs. After that, go into slightly more details on something new, which the technology is running now, and these two items lah. But being new to, I think you are third year, so I will just I don't go into very details on these two lah, because these two is more towards like master in beams. Yeah, so you all will know it. Just have a knowledge on it. Otherwise, it will become like very, very boring lah on these two topics. Yeah, I will quickly go through it. Yeah. Okay. Let's, yeah, okay. Let's do on beam. Okay, so talking about the skill set on beam, right? I start up with like I think all of you did sketches, and then after that translate it into 2D drawing first. I think some of you did SketchUp lah, okay, 3D models or 2D drawings. So same things, I did the same for the project when the times that the this beam is not really very well conversed in Singapore, even like in Malaysia yet. Then we do the same thing, try out using Revit to do preparation on tender, prepare, and then do certain part of the submissions. And then when we go to another project, then because it's like the year change, and then the government keep pushing on, we have to evolve and then change from no more AutoCAD, you have to do everything in BIM. Then we try out with the 3D, because 3D we used to use SketchUp. I think now should be still same like most of the student also, because it's more intuitive, easier for you to use the 3D models in SketchUp. So in another project that I did, I used 3D, try out the 3D in Revit, and subsequently is mixed up lah, because it's not mandatory to do the submission and the drawings in BIM yet. Whereas when it comes to 2013, that period is become mandatory. We must use BIM to do all the submissions in Singapore. If your GFA is capped at certain area, then you must do a submission. Because being the government project, usually their skills, what I did all this project, the skill is huge. Later I will quickly flip through some of the images to show you all how does it look like. But it's from outside lah, so I won't be showing in detail like how the prison looks like internally. And then while we are doing beams, and then to 2015, I think some of you are aware that I think in Malaysia now you are also doing this IBS, right? So in Singapore we call it PPVC, the pre-finished pre-construction volumetric construction. So it's like all those Lego, how you stack up. So there is a challenge when we want to evolve this beam, right? From even 3D we have a difficulty, then how it change it to using this IBS like the PPVC, how to prepare the drawings in BIMs. And then we try out in 2015, and subsequently we are like kind of like expert already. Then we try out even more things that which Dynamo that time is not part of Dynamo, not the Dynamo that the detergents is the one of the plugin in Revit. Previously it's not part of the software, part of the panels in BIM yet. Yeah, but now if you install 20, I think in Malaysia you're using 2023 or 2024. Yeah, then definitely it will have Dynamo in the manage tab if you realize lah. So it's part of it. Dynamo is something like coding. I'm not sure you are familiar with coding. Yeah, so coding here now in Singapore, primary school they are start learning coding already. So when they join the polytechnic or university, they are well versed with all this coding lah. So it's very easy for them to catch this dynamo, to do some fanciful parametric design in the facade, and it saves a lot of times. Yeah. Then yeah, some rendering as well lah. So those are the project that just now I mentioned. They evolve from 2D. Like this is the one that I did in Sabah. So we do AutoCAD. Like I think most of you in third year still doing this, like doing AutoCAD drawings, and then you translate it into maybe 3D. When you draw the floor plan, you still draw it in 2D, and then whenever you change the drawing, then you got to change all the section elevation, and then when we evolve like from AutoCAD, then after that we go to SketchUp, and then do SketchUp. Start out with 3D first, then after that you export it to AutoCAD, and then you draw it into AutoCAD. And subsequently, we try to use all these like 3D modeling to go and render, like because we have the model already, we rendered it, and then this is a rendering. We're using all those V-Ray. Yeah. I very long never touch on Malaysia software, so I don't know what is the other software that you are using, like Lumion, Enscape. Should be about similar lah, because all those software that is more intuitive, like easier for us to use. And then subsequently, when we do like we want to change, like remember I said 2013 onwards, we got to do submission. So we combine both like SketchUp and Revit together. So we both project combine together and then try to do the whole thing in Revit model. Yeah, combine them. And then we also involve some other software that provided by Autodesk. Like I'm not sure whether you're familiar with the Autodesk Navy's work. And then we have all those related to the Revit lah. Okay, so it's throughout the entire process when we do. And then during construction itself, we also have another process that we are using, BIM 360, which is the platform that we are sharing all this modeling, and then how the contractor and then the engineer, consultant, everyone can use the same platform to share the model during construction. Yeah. What else I have? This is a PVC project that which is the IBS, like IBS project that I think the time when I did is the tallest in Singapore. I think 670 on 16 story. I think now they hit until 60 already, like not 16. So they can reach, I think the latest one is to be 660. Yeah, 60 floor. Completed soon. Or almost, I think almost TOP. If you have a chance, you can go and take a look. They're residential in Queenstown, one of the MRT station. Yeah, it's quite nice, and the whole project timeline is very short. Within like 2 years, within 2 years they completed with all the PPVC. And then these are some of the process that I won't also go into details lah. So when you're doing all these process in PPVC, how is it you need to involve like every single pieces into the detailings of a BIM model, yeah, the Revit model. Okay. Yeah, so that is most likely that the evolve that which I think most of you now, your startup, you can straight away go into, you can skip all those like hard time that the previously what we did, which we start from sketches like 2D. We don't even have a 3D model for us, like a Revit, this kind of software for us to learn to use. And then we have to, every time we got to change the 2D model, we got to change all the section and elevation. So now you are in third year that you are started up with all this process, which is good. Not that you can't use AutoCAD or SketchUp, you can still use it. Just that the whole process, when next time you are involved in the actual project, then how you are going to run it and which one is benefit to the project. So for the next part that I will be sharing more towards like in actual project, when you are involving in a construction project, like the most difficult parts to me will be the coordinations. Yeah. Now you all should have a good project, right? So you have an individual project, I guess you all should have a good project as well. So what you all will do is you all send the model here and there, and then you send to your friend, and then you finish. I think most of you are still staying in the dorm lah, stay in the, what's that called, hostel. Yeah, so it's very close to each other, then you all will share. But you try to imagine that next time when you go into industry, you start working, right? You are not staying next to each other. Yeah, you are working with the engineer maybe in US. Yeah, I used to work with a lot of like architects previously from US and UK. Their timing is different, and their project type and their requirement is all different. And Australia as well. I think Australia should be quite common. Yeah. So the coordination part will be one of the issue most of the time, if your project is start up with a BIM, yeah, or Revit model. Okay, so to me the most important parts is the platform itself. Okay, so whether everyone is using the same platform or not, and then second one is the standard, is it same or not? So you might find out like don't even talk about Australia. So maybe now in Singapore and Malaysia, like when during the time just now Dr. Lang mentioned on the project collaboration. So our student and UTM student also have a different kind of standard, not standard like the Revit version. Yeah, the Revit version is different, and then the way on presenting the model also can be very different. Yeah, so all those standard and platform which we are talking about, even we are so close to each other, are learning quite a similar thing. It can be very different to us. Okay, um, give me a second. Okay, I think. Sorry, give me a second. Uh, my slide a bit slow.
No problem. Take your
Yeah,
time.
because my slide a bit slow, then they jump.
Yeah,
I
understood,
don't know where
understood.
is it.
Sure, no problem.
No, I think because of it's because of the what is that? The Webex.
Yeah,
It's,
probably, yeah,
yeah,
because you are
yeah.
shared in the platform.
Yeah, platform. Okay, I think I just now I should share this. Okay, maybe I go back a little bit more. Uh, yeah, because I know that y'all are third year, so it's very different from the previous where I share. You already have a certain knowledge on BIM, so only on sixth week maybe you are still new that and when you touch on the Revit software, you don't know what is it about. So I prepare this a quick slide and maybe sharing on what is BIM first. So you all have an understanding what is BIM before I go into detail. Otherwise, you're like very blur, don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So um, when we are keep talking about BIM, right? So a lot of people have this common misconception. Even when last time when I start using Revit software to run the project, and we keep talking about the beam model, beam model. Yeah, a lot of people keep talking about beam model. So a lot of these miscoms about the interpretation of this beam is equal to the software itself. Yeah, so when just now I keep talking about Revit, you mentioned I mentioned Revit, right? So in Singapore, actually, we are not only using Revit. Yeah, there are a lot of other software like Bentley. We are also using, our students also using. So they are part of the BIM process as well. Yeah, they are not mention that a beam is equal to Revit. Yeah, this is a maybe some of you have a major miscom about like beams equal to like the beam model is Revit. Yeah, Revit is just that one of the platform provided by Autodesk. Yeah, for us to run this whole process. Okay, and a lot of people also thinking that BIM it translate AutoCAD into 3D modeling. Yeah, if you remember just now when I mentioned I from 2D, then I go to SketchUp, then after that I go to 3D modeling. So all this is evolve and changing. So it's part of the BIM process. Doesn't mean that when I change my AutoCAD drawing to 3D means I'm doing BIM already. Yeah. And then the third one is when people doing a 3D modeling, so when they're doing 3D, when they do drafting, then they thought that, hey, I'm doing a beam already. Yeah, so all these three miscom is basically usually I hear from student or even me myself that previously when I don't understand what is this beam, I will have fall into every category, any category of this. So, what is actually BIM? Yeah, BIM is a process, okay, not a software itself, like just now I mentioned. So, a process that we engage the stakeholder, meaning like you are from pre-construction, during construction, or post-construction. Okay, we are talking about the whole life cycles. Yeah. So this keyword of whole life cycle, which currently in Singapore we are pushing very hard, and then the government also pushing very hard on the whole life cycle. So we don't want it to be the building I built already today, then tomorrow I don't know what happened to the buildings. Yeah. So we have to think of, yeah, today I built this building. So if somehow that this building are not necessary, what can I do to that building? Yeah. So what can I use to that whatever model that I have? How can I change it? How can I make use of the existing model to do something else? Yeah. So the whole process that we are talking to involve all this technology is a being process. The whole process. Yeah. So, in terms of construction, why during pre-construction, the stakeholder, meaning like, oh, this person that preparing the model will be architects and engineer. So they use this certain software to visualize, and then they perform certain analysis. They run the simulation, like they run CFD, they run the wind flow, see whether it works or not before it builds. Yeah. Then during construction, the contractor itself will continue with the modeling or whatever information that the architects or engineer have, then they make use of that to go and do planning, on-site planning, how to do the coordination, how I make use of the architect model, or how I make use of the architect information or tender documents inside certain area to do the manpower mobilization. Okay, how I plan on how many workers I need for today. Okay, as a contractor, I cannot have like every day at a site got 1,000 workers. So the headcount will be very high. So they make use on this kind of system, the process, to plan during construction. Whereas during the post-construction, which is when the building completed, okay, the client, the facility manager, those person that manage the buildings, or the end user, okay, the user that use that the buildings, that they able to use whatever these architects, contractor prepare, and then utilize them to run their buildings. Okay, example now, like maybe in your school in UTM, maybe the aircon, I don't know what is that, block 11, still there lah. Oh, that time is still new to me. Okay, that building is maybe that time is still new. So now when you take a look, that last time we are not using beam. So when the building is there already, the if you imagine that we are running the whole beam process during the architect design, contractor build. So now whoever manage the building, they know, oh, somehow that the AHU got issue. I can don't have to run down. I can depends on my modelings, and then I click on the modeling. I can take a look on, what is the model that I'm using? Or I'm using this AAA model, so I can purchase from who, at how much, at what time. Okay, so all this asset information I can put inside the modelings or certain record, and then the end user is easier for them. The facility manager, they can straight away get it done easily. Yeah. So this whole life cycle, the whole process, when we're talking about, is a beam. Okay, is a beam process. Okay, and then in short, why is it we keep talking about the beam is like the name suggests, like building information modeling. Okay, we design certain buildings, and then we put in a lot of information that we want, and then we model it out. So this all the whole modeling itself is include all the information that we want. And why we want to do beams? Yeah, why is it we can't use AutoCAD and continue to do it? Why I think in Malaysia now also keep pushing, why is it the submission you try to do beam and everything do beam? Because we want to reduce this waste. Yeah, the waste is not the rubbish waste lah, because the time is concern. Yeah, because every project that is delaying, then if you are still not using this beam process, then your timeline can be even dragged further. And then money, okay, because time is equal to money lah. So the longer the project drag, and then the consultant, the contractor, then everyone involved is not in the benefits. Okay, and then effort as well, and the material lah. The effort means like whatever you draw, you have to redraw it. Okay, so how we improve this is when we do beams, we can improve our efficiency, because everything you draw inside, certain thing that you change, they can easily that link to any information that you want. And then in terms of coordination, also easier, because wherever you change in the floor plan, it will reflect in 3D, it reflect in all the information, all the drawing inside the modeling, and then all the information that we record in the BIM execution plan, certain documents, and then people can able to read it. And then with that, you improve the relation because the client think that it's very good, everything is fast, and then you save a lot of money. The relationship is you can maintain the relationship with the client and also your design. Okay, you can improve in your design. Okay, so this is a traditional workflow which I don't really want to go through a lot. Okay, like you draw plan, whatever in 3D. So with the BIM workflow or BIM process, so what the architect or the designer will think on the 3D model first, because whenever I drawing in a wall, it's not like a wall in your AutoCAD drawing or your SketchUp. Yeah, you have to draw it in 3D. You have to think of this wall, I got to reach at level 2 or level 3. So you are thinking your mindset will be changed a little bit when I doing the BIM process. Everything will be think on 3D first. Yeah. So how this 3D affect the rest of the things. And then in BIM itself, we have 7D. I think recently we have a 8D already lah. So 1D, 2D, I think you all should know 1D, 2D. So 2D drawing, 3D, I think you're also aware. So 4D, which we include scheduling. Okay, so we put in schedule into the BIM process or into our Revit model. So it becomes 4D. Okay, scheduling is not difficult. So I think subsequently you'll learn how to create certain schedule for door, for window, so easier for contractor, for QS to do a calculation on how many numbers. So all this information are linked to your modeling and linked to your Revit model. Okay, and then when we put in certain cost analysis, okay, we can run like budgeting in using your 3D model, and then it becomes 5D, and then subsequently 6D. So all these are not run in concurrent. That means the information that you're putting in, it name it as 6D. So most of the time, I think some of you now you are drawing in 3D, then straight away you will jump to 6D, which is fine, correct? Because you are doing the 3D modeling, then straight away you will think on sustainability part, which where is the sun orientation, those basic like east and west facing. So where is the wind flow, where is how I want to catch the wind, how I want to avoid the direct sunlight into my usable space, how I want to block it. Yeah, so all those when you are thinking, you bring into the 3D modeling, so it becomes 6D. 7D, which just now I mentioned, the facility management. 8D is into security lah, something like related to security. Yeah, because now a lot of issue happen, like all those threat happen. So they are trying to include a lot of security information into the modelings. Okay, so in short, in a nutshell, so what BIM will function the same way as all the designer and their buildings, and then same at all the builder lah. So how architect wants, and then turns out it will be similar. You also don't want that you design is very fanciful, your design very nice, and then turns out that the builder, the contractor, built something else for you because the contractor cannot understand what you want. Okay, so this BIM, the whole process will help you. And then not every single model is the same. Okay, what matters is to keep the geometry consistent. Okay, this is the part where just now I mentioned, like you can use Bentley, I can use Revit, you can use SketchUp, you can use AutoCAD. It is fine. It's still in the BIM process as long as you are drawing all together. The most important is the geometry must be consistent. Meaning I should be able to open up your Revit your AutoCAD drawing in my Revit model. Then it's consistent. So everything is consistent. My coordinate, everything is consistent, then we can run together. You don't want to be like you use something else that you don't know from where else, and then you can't export to any kind of acceptable geometry by your Revit or Bentley. Then you are having trouble lah, because when you finish already, only your company or you yourself having an issue. Then yeah. So in BIM itself, so translate into some images. So what we can do is like the whole process, we start out with design. Okay, you can use BIM to do design. You use sustainability, remember just now I mentioned. So I believe in Malaysia, you also have this like wind flow. If you have a naturally ventilated room, so you must make sure that your room comply to certain wind flow speed, okay, certain airflow inside your room. Then you can pass the requirements, right? So for using, when you are running a BIM process, you will run this sustainability, the 60, remember? So you can run it and take a look. Hey, this room, actually the wind is not running in. So I should do something here. Okay, before it is too late. Yeah, before it's too late. After you build already, then you can't get TOP or you can't get completion. The occupants cannot occupy the buildings. Yeah, this is something that we don't want it to happen. And you can do something called clash detection. Okay, this is the to me is the most beneficial to both consultant and contractor. Yeah, because you know, for a building, it's not as simple than you see, just you design the out for an architect lah. So not that you have to only think, my outlook got to be nice, like Zaha Hadid, or very fanciful, all those design. You have to think of how my services run. Okay, the engineer will design for you, but you must make sure that, it won't be suddenly protruding out one pipe. How come got one duct so ugly run through your buildings? Or you don't want it to be, you design already, and a structure engineer, you design a very big space, the structure engineer put a column in the middle for you. Yeah, so all this you don't want it to be happen, and you don't want it to be clash with your idea or your project. So what we do is we can do something called clash detection. You run the clashes first. Like this is one of the simple example that you can have, which you run already the WC, or this like WC in your building definitely will have lah. Can I have a building without WC, right? Without toilets. So all this piping, definitely the engineer will just put it in, they don't care. Okay. And then if you notice, this is a beam and then this is a piping, there is a clash. Okay. So what we do is we want to identify the clash and not leave it. We identify already, we got to solve it. Okay. Solve it with who and which engineer, you got to record. Okay, today that the CNS engineer said, I allowed you to punch through my structure. Okay, I provide opening for you, provide a opening for your piping to run through, and then at what date, who agree. Okay, so all this got to be recorded and then keep in the entire process. So anything that happen, you can resurface this and then take a look. Why is it last time we agreed, then something happened again? Okay, and then during fabrication, remember I said just now, the Lego or those PPVC light, and then how you want to translate this modeling into your Revit model. And then during construction also is very helpful when you're doing this beam. Okay, you can use that to run through all the RFI, request for information. So even though we run through, just like I mentioned, the clash detection, we run through all those simulation. You know, we are human. So being human, we definitely make mistake lah. Okay, cannot be like you run already, then 100% there's no clashes. Definitely, you still need a consultant at site and then solve certain clashes. So during construction, so contractor might highlight certain thing, this one doesn't work, Mr. Architect, this one doesn't work. So what can I do? So last time what when I running project is paper. Okay, contractor will print out the paper, the drawing, then you sign, and then after that, maybe you go back the paper, they forget already because the contractor maybe got 1,000 RFI submitted. They don't know what happened and maybe something missed. And then the workers at the construction site, they don't know also. They based on the drawing. Today you ask me to cast this floor, I will cast. So when you notice something, architect reply, but it's not translate to the workers, then it's too late. Okay, you got to do hacking, you're wasting time to go and waste all the concrete to go and hack again. So with this, insert all the information into your BIM process, so you can use the cloud. Okay, certain cloud. Later I will share a little bit of the sharing just now when I run through that slide. I will share a little bit how you do that. It helps on your project. Okay, sharing in cloud, like you use your Apple, your iPhone cloud system, the Apple cloud or the Google cloud system, or even your Google Drive. Okay, is considered like a cloud system. Everything that you throw up there, anyone that log into your Google account, they can see the information inside. Okay, so in BIM process, we have this as well. We have this cloud, especially for the BIM model. Okay, I will share a little bit on that later. And then VR is something that very hit now. Okay, very useful, which our school got a lot new. So if you have a chance, y'all can come and visit, then I can bring a tour you around and bring your model together. So when you finish this semester, tour around the new, it's kind of new lab with all the VR, and they are inserted a lot of like feature which this VR can even tell you what is the running distance, how far is it, and then what is the material, how it change, and then all sort of information it can appears in the virtual world. Okay, when it also give you a very actual rendering on your project. Okay, you can take a look how nice is it, or how bad is it you want to change for the model. And in terms of like the last part, the facility management, so with the process itself, You can key in, like example, just now I mentioned the AHU, like for your blogs, then you can identify certain apps. There is someone fall down here already. So you can take a photos and then straight away upload to the model, and then the facility manager or someone that manage that building, they are aware, if something happened there. So I got to do certain things. Yeah, so all these are linked. So all this information are inside the model. Is very simple to the user. To me, this facility management part, the most useful part is the costing part. Yeah, because sometimes when during construction, contractor will purchase certain thing. Example, like now your house, you're buying a laptop. Just we are the management, we are talking about asset lah. So anything that there is an asset, that means something that at your house or at your building, consider an asset. So I buy a laptop at home, or a monitor screen with my PC at home. That information I can key into my, let's say I draw my house 3D model. Every time I purchase, I put the information inside my Revit model, and then I tag it. Okay, I say when I purchase this today, 8 of November. So I purchase it at, what is the shop in my Seng have, right? Yeah, Seng that I purchased this or Harvey Norman my PC at today's at 2000, with which supplier, then what is the contact. I put in all the information at my house. So imagine that next time when maybe after 2 3 years you want to change certain things, that you want to find out where I purchased this, and my receipt I gone already. Yeah, you can go to the model and take a look where I purchased, what I purchased, how much I purchased. Yeah, that is one of the example lah. So definitely house we won't do that lah, because house is so small, cannot be like just a small thing you will forget, right? But we are talking about the huge major project, like a large project that we did, shopping mall, those city square, what is that, the all those large project, shopping mall, or the condominiums, all those. Then when we put in the information, it's very useful. All those information, when I click, I want to replace, where is the light problem, I'll buy this light from where, how many lux level. So all the information is inside. Otherwise, you imagine that the buildings, people come, people go, that today you join this company, tomorrow you might not there already. You call the person that not there already, you don't know who to call. Yeah, if you just have the contact number without a company. So all this information very useful for the facility manager during doing their facility management. Okay, and then this is the part that just now I run through. Okay, I will pause a while here. So anyone have any question on, like, you still don't know, after I talk so much, you still don't know what is BIM?
Students, do you have any questions? Maybe you can rest up to Architect Wong, or maybe you can type in the chat box. Later on,
Okay.
I will read it out also.
Okay, can. So I will go through the last part, which this part a bit chim to all of you, but I feel that it's very useful. You should know it during start. So most of the time when I tell a student, you know it during the later part, it kind of a bit too late for you already. So you might find it very boring. I don't know what is this about and why I want to learn this now. Which is correct. This whole thing is very boring and it's a standard, and it's a requirement where you just have to know there is this thing, and then next time it's easier for you when you start doing. Okay, so this tool that just now I mentioned, when you start drawing, make sure that when you do coordination, now you are start up, maybe you are start an individual, you are drawing your own model, you're at your own world, you just draw your Revit model, your 3D, whatever you import to your Revit model, there is no issue because you are doing individually. Okay, but when it comes to collaboration, when we're talking about the huge project, when this kind of like all the system together, you will have an issue. Okay, so what we want is something called a common data environment. Okay, everyone were using a common digital space, then sharing to collaborate to exchange the information. When I'm talking about everyone, meaning everyone that involved in the project, like including your client, the consultant, the contractors, and then the FM, everyone, okay, should be in a same environment. Like example, now you are using iPhone, okay, so this is like iPhone cloud. So I want everyone to be in iPhone. You cannot be this one iPhone, then this one Huawei, then suddenly one using Android phone. Okay, then you can't talk already. So the whole environment here is not common already. So when I talk about Apple can do this guy won't be joining me because he's using Android. Yeah, he don't care about what Apple, because he's not using the same phone. Okay, so when we want to talk about the Apple cloud, everyone must using Apple phone. Okay, so example lah. So for construction wise, we need the same thing as well. So this common data environment actually, like just now I mentioned, break into these two, data standard and data platform. And yeah, this one I don't talk about. Okay, just now I mentioned something very interesting is like if you still remember when I said the process when the architect design, then after that they hand over to the contractor. After that, they construct already, hand over the information to the facility management, someone to manage. Okay, so now the most interesting part is we don't stop there. You hand over already. A lot of people will think that, hey, I hand over the project already to the facility manager or the client. Okay, and then I wash hand already, not my pasta already, not my problem, because I don't care already because I finished my job. Okay, but what we wanted to think is the other way. Okay, so as a designer, as an architect, what you need to do is you have to think of, hey, that project. Remember just I mentioned. So when you do certain things like, oh, let's say for example, I do this theater now. Okay, I do this very nice theater, very nice amphitheater lah. That means that there is a step and there's stage, people do performance. Then somehow that maybe you realize certain, or maybe hit by COVID again, the second wave, then if people cannot have this kind of requirement, then people sitting together to watch the show. Okay, then the space will become wasted. So those management, those people that manage the building, it cannot be like just suddenly jobless, nothing to do. Okay. So what as a designer that we want to do now, not only the design a nice building, we have to think of, hey, next time if I put in the information, what can they do? Okay, like example, just now I mentioned theater. So maybe suddenly hit already, I say, oh, maybe the space can become a church. Like because church need a stage, people singing this and that, right? Example. Okay. So that is a proposal that you can put it in when you're doing a design. Okay, you consider like the whole life cycle. Okay, instead of like, oh, after that, I know you already I knock down, build something else. Okay, that's what we are not looking at, because whatever that you created is whatever we want to reduce it is a carbon emission. So another big topic that we can talk the whole day is a carbon emission, where now Singapore is going to impose carbon tax. Okay, I'm not sure whether you're aware of the carbon tax. I think Malaysia not yet. Maybe soon, because usually when Singapore impose already, very soon Malaysia will do that, like the carbon tax, meaning like the amount of carbon that you release to atmosphere, no matter what you do, you are doing construction, you are doing fabrication or whatever, you got to pay tax. Whatever you release, you got to pay tax. That means the amount that you release, 10 meter cube or what, then you got to pay certain amount. Yeah, that is coming soon in Singapore next year. So everyone got to pay the tax, because the idea is we want to reduce that carbon waste. So this is one of the things that if next time you want to knock down the buildings, concrete also release carbon when you reproduce all those carbon thingy. So you got to pay. You got to pay like a few million to just knock down that building, because you are releasing the carbon to the atmosphere. Okay. So now even you breathe, also not free already. Yeah, you got to pay next time. Yeah. So the next part, which remember I mentioned there is a platform you share everyone same. So the second one is how you govern this. Okay. So when I say, oh, same, you must have a certain information that must share across all the discipline. Everyone must be the same. Cannot be like a architect, I talk, then engineer listen, they don't follow, contractor don't follow. So I cannot sing the same song with them. So now I want everyone sing the same song on stage, and then the project can run successfully. Okay, so what we have this thing called ISO. This ISO is certain standard. I think you heard of ISO before. There are ISO on certain food. So even to do document also got ISO. So you control is a standard to control certain document. ISO to control food, which is the Michelin style. Okay, so Michelin is one of the ISO also. So they want to achieve Michelin 1 star, 2 star. You receive it in Singapore, you receive in Malaysia, you receive in Thailand, the 1 star, 2 star is the same. Cannot be like the Thailand 1 star Michelin different from Malaysia 1 star Michelin. So it must be a same standard. Okay, so that is why it's across the world. Okay, this ISO is something that UK release it. They release it, and then they want everyone to have the same standard. That means you achieve a same standard for entire BIM framework, a BIM process, when you are doing certain thing related to BIM. Okay, so that we are achieving the same Michelin. Okay, but if you ask me, you might ask a question, hey, then when I do a BIM model, do I have to get this ISO? Do I must get this ISO? Okay, you might ask yourself this question. Then it's same thing like, if now tomorrow you go to the warung to open one nasi lemak store, do you think that your nasi lemak store must get a Michelin star? Yeah, so that is the same question to when you're doing BIM. You can be very nice, but not necessarily you get a Michelin star. Okay, a star, not star. The Michelin star from recognize that your nasi lemak is the best. Okay, but you can submit if you follow the certain standard or how you cook your nasi lemak and certain timing, then how you do all the process. You follow, then you can submit. Then the people will come and review it. It's very nice, or it follows certain standard, or it's very healthy. What or eat already you won't gain weight, then you get certain star to your that nasi lemak. Okay, so same to this B model. Okay, the framework is also the same, this ISO. There are 5 release, 6 coming out soon, also about security, I think. Yeah, they are releasing soon in UK because I recently attended with their ISO releasing company. So they are preparing the number 6, yeah, on security as well. So this ISO is actually is the organization and digitalization of information about building and structure works. Okay, these two. So the information they manage using BIP. Okay, using BIP meaning in short they are managing all the information as long as you are in the BIM process. How they manage it is like they give you a framework, they give you a framework for you to plan. This ISO very thin only, a few pages only. So the ISO is like they just cover in general, tell you what to do. They are not like a thick book like your contract like that. They are not. So it's just a very thin part to tell you, hey, what you should do, what you should do. So the framework made into 2 parts. The first one is the archiving the system. So for the company using BIM and on day-to-day system for the project that you are using BIM. Okay, so this whole thing is about maintaining the consistency across all BIM thingy lah. Okay, so if you still remember, like just now I mentioned, the BIM process is the geometry lah. Okay, the geometry must be same. So here they talk about how they govern all the recording. Okay, all the record of the information must be consistent. So this 5 part, 5 is already security, huh? So I can't remember 6 is what lah. Today he mentioned they are preparing on 6 certain thing related to security and sustainability, I think, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, they are preparing already, so releasing soon. So they are depending on what is the market needs and what kind of project that people are doing. Then they are preparing lah. They are preparing certain standard for everyone. That means the whole world, not only UK, not only Singapore, not only Malaysia. They are preparing for everyone to follow. So one is some of the different thing that next time, because now you're only year 3, maybe year 4 you will year out, right? You will go out to do internship, to do attachment. So you might realize, hey, this naming, maybe next time your company is following this ISO, like the nasi lemak, you want to achieve certain standard. So hey, you will realize the name will be different. Like you talk about contract. So every time you look at your contract, the law contract is we name it the PSA previously standard across Malaysia and Singapore. We are using PAS 1192, which we call it contract. I'm not sure whether you are aware. We call it employer. Okay, my client, my employer. Client, I think most of you in Malaysia we call client. But in Singapore we call it employer and contract. These two I think is most common. But in this ISO they don't use it. They don't use employer. They don't use contract. They make it as a appointment. Okay, I give an appointment for what project. And then I don't say my client asked me to do this in a contract. Client said the engineer what, they don't mention the client or the employer. So we are using this 3 term called appointing party, lead appointing party, and appointed party. Later I will give you some idea why is it they want to change. Okay. And then yeah, like this 3 tier. So you remember just I mentioned appointing party, lead appointing party, and appointed party. So it's different tier. So when they mention about appointing party, is all the client inside this will call it appointing party. That means the paymaster lah, the one that the paymaster, they pay you money, own the project, they call it in tier 1 appointing party. So if the client straight away engage the contractor, they might straight away engage the contractor. Okay, so the contractor will become lead appointing party. Okay, why is it this ISO wanted to have this kind of issue? I will skip a little bit on this. Why is it they want to have this kind of issue is this kind of changes is for example, I give an example like Okay, today later you go after this, you go to the Warung and go and buy one Coke. Okay, you buy one Coke. The mall, I don't know what is the name of the, I can't remember too long already. Buy a Coke. So you take $2, you buy a Coke, you're gonna pay the card. You say, oh, this is the Coke. I pay you $2. Now the Coke is $2, RM2. Okay, you say you pay RM2. So you drink a Coke. When you open the Coke itself, right? Hey, you realize, hey, I drink a little bit. Hey, got cockroach inside. Cockroach inside my Coke. So you will bring the Coke back to the akak, right? The makcik. You say, hey, you got cockroach inside your Coke. Like I drink your Coke. Return me $2. Then the makcik or the kakak might tell you, hey, no leh, how I know this Coke not I cook leh, I cannot cook Coke, right? So the Coke is prepared by F&N company. They prepare already at the factory, whatever happened, how I know I'm not working at the factory. So they send to me, I just sell it, right? Yeah, so this is one of the simple example lah. So who for? So you are the consumer that you buy it, you drink the Coke till the Coke already. So what happened? Are you going to go and sue F&N company, or you're going to sue the akak, the makcik there, because you are buying from him. So all these term, I mean, in that is the way that you buy lah. But when you translate to construction contract, it's very complicated. Yeah. So it will be like, hey, who I should look for? This thing happen, who should I look for? So everyone will become employer. Like you remember I mentioned just now, employer. So I'm the worker, so I'm whatever, I'm in a contract with you. So I will say that I don't have contract with my client. I'm under the architect, I'm contractor, I'm under architect. I don't have I don't work with the client, example lah. So this thing will happen. Then this ISO come in is they try to solve this issue. So as long as your contract, later I will show you a bar easier to understand. I will skip this first. Yeah. So example like that. So I have a appointed already. So when there are something happen, so this person happen, I know who to find. I link to where. So architect is under who? Who get your money? So below architect got who? Architect got hire landscape architect or not? So if you hire the landscape architect, so what you should write in your contract? So you cannot say you are the employer to the landscape architect. So landscape architect did something wrong. So client at fault, or the architect at fault, or the landscape architect at fault. So don't know who is taking care of who. Okay, so these terms wise, it will help us to solve this issue. Okay, so all these ISO, when in short, when I'm talking about all these ISO standard, is we want to make sure that whatever we drawing we put in is able to find out the solution. Okay, the important is how to find out lah. Another very interesting inside this ISO is LOD. I'm not sure whether maybe you haven't reached there, the level of developments, which in short we call it LOD. So in Singapore, or next time when you do submission, certain authority like MPJB or whoever requested different drawings. They are requesting different kind of LOD levels of details. Some of you will talk that level of details. So they will mention like, hey, I want LOD 100, I want LOD 200, 300, 400. Okay, so they will name this in their submission. So to architect to engineer, so you tell me LOD 300. So 300 supposed to include area, let's say area have. So 300 supposed to include the weight or not? So weight, should I include in the 300? Or should I, or my 200 already got weight? Or is it I should put in rebar or not? So your 400 got rebar. So 300, can I put rebar? So all these level of development previously, when the authority mentioned, whoever tell you, please give me a LOD 300 column. Okay, you tell engineer lah. So maybe tomorrow you go out, you work already, you tell engineer, hey, give me the LOD 300 columns. The engineer don't know what is 300 because they are across different requirements that they say the weight must include, they say the weight don't need include. Then the engineer don't know whether to include rebar or not, maybe don't need. Then this ISO came in. Okay, they say that, oh, it's very vague, this level of development. So they change it level of definition. So they say whenever you want to tell people on the level of details you want, you must the level of definition you want, you must tell them the level of details and the level of information. Okay, when you issue to the engineer, you tell them, hey, engineer, Mr. Engineer, I want the column in LOD 300 with rebar. Okay, information meaning rebar. So you must tell them what they want, what you want, so they will draw for you. Okay, so that is what usually to authority lah, to consultant easier for us to talk. So in terms of authority will be a bit difficult. Yeah. Then the other thing interesting is the naming convention. Okay, last time we used to name it lah, like your project. I think you're aware. You save the SketchUp file. You skip final one. Then after that you change already final one. Then really final. Okay, you don't know which one is final because you keep changing the naming convention. Not only you when last time when I start working, the company also running this way. So you don't know when you want to go back to the final. You don't know which one is final because it's really final or really like confirm final. You don't know which one is final. Okay, so this I also realized got this issue happen. They give this naming for us to name a bit long, but it's a standard lah. So like I said, it's a standard. So they break down in this field like what you should follow, which like A is architect, C is a structural engineer, this and that lah. So they give certain naming. This is the part just now I mentioned on the contractual part where there is something happen on that code one. Okay, so the agreement when we talk about the contract, so we talk about uh, the whole process when we want to name it appointing party or appointed party, yeah, something like that. You see, employer we change it to appointing party. So something happened to the let's say the employer straight away engage contractor, so they can name it supplier. Okay, so client usually in Singapore they call it the supplier because they supply concrete, they supply what to the project site, right? So they call it supplier. Then after that, the main con go and call, let's say the cladding contractor, M&E contractor, they also call supplier because they also supplier while they supply things to main con. Then this guy supply duct or fire alarm or sprinkler to the M&E, they also supplier. Wow, who's all supplier, you see, all supplier. So you don't know something happened on this supplier, who you are talking about, right? So if nothing happens, so the whole project is nice lah. If something happen, then people will start finding fault lah. So who is this? You write in the contract when you go to law lah. When there is a law case lah, which very often in Singapore every day got I think more than 10 or 20. Yeah, more than that lah. Okay, so 10 or 20 is average already happen in construction this kind of law issue and in terms of construction. So they want to reduce this kind of conflict or you can settle separately because sometimes that why people bring the case to court or to pursue further is because you cannot solve. Architect will say, oh, I write this because of based on my understanding. Contractor say no, because you are writing it, I read it the other way. Yeah. So we want to reduce this kind of conflict. We write it very clearly. Client means don't call client anymore, don't call employer, we call appointing party. Okay, so the main con become lead appointing party. Main con and architect can become like same, call lead appointing party because they are getting the same pay, same payroll from the appointing party, which is the client. So anything happen to any one of these, they are same role. So we look at this person, you're the appointing, but they are appointed. So whoever under the contractor, they can part on the appointed party. Okay, they are all appointed party, which is fine to me because they are appointed, they are not linked. So anything to the M&E contractor, all this, they are not supplier anymore. So I don't care because we are different category. Okay, so this one is trying to help to solve the issue lah. Okay, the last part which I also want to quickly bring through is the cloud collaboration. Okay, I'm looking at the time. Okay, just now I mentioned one thing is the data you having the same. So now I want to go to the Apple Cloud already. Okay, just now is the data lah using a same phone. You must make sure the same phone first. Now I want to sync when I have a same phone already. Everyone using a same phone already. I want to go to the same platform. Everyone now can sync to Apple Cloud already. We used to have. I'm not sure how many of you heard of this Autodesk 360. Used to have running a few years like on BIM 360. Then they have superseded by the ACC. It's recently, I think early this year they released. It's actually same thing like they just rebrand it and then they change the cloud system because previously the Autodesk have this BIM 360. They have a few server. They don't know where they go and maybe borrow from Google, borrow from you know who they rent a space to do it. But now they have gathered everything. So Autodesk has their own cloud system. They call it Autodesk Construction Cloud lah, ACC, which is the same thing like your Apple Cloud, how it works like your Apple Cloud lah. Okay. Yeah, this Autodesk Construction Cloud. So they manage the software. What we want is like same, like very simple. Your phone, you keep thinking your handphone. Like now everyone using the Apple phone already. So I can sync, everyone can read my information. So you have like, if those who are using Apple one, you know what I'm talking. So I'm using this key change. Okay, I key in the information, then I save my photo, everything I save into my cloud system. So the other phone, maybe your parents, your moms, your father wanted to look at your photo, they can actually log into your account. They can see all the photo because they can sync the same photo that you upload to the system. Okay, so same for construction, we wanted to do the same so that everyone are at the same page lah. Okay, we do design, we do plan, we do build, we do operate. So these four things is running in the cloud system. Okay, how we run it now? Okay, why lah? This is why first lah. So why we want to change it? Why we don't want to just thumb drive lah? So simple. Today I draw already a thumb drive, then I send to my engineer tomorrow, or email lah. Email send to the contractor. Okay, email to the contractor. Hey, today this is the changes. Okay, so a lot of people doing that, sending. So why we don't want? We want it to be at the same platform. Everyone using Apple Cloud or this the cloud system, log into the same account. Okay, because we want to reduce the rework part. If you email to send, the engineer might miss out. They don't know what happened. So you might today send already at maybe 12 p.m. just now. So after 2 or 3 p.m., you know, you're doing design, you all know. So every single minute, you are changing the design. You think, hey, not nice, this staircase, I want to change. To architect, to us, it's very simple. We just rotate, change. But to them, to engineer or to the rest of them, very difficult to catch because they don't care, because they just want to base on the architect drawing to design it. Okay, they if you never tell them there is a changes, they don't know there is a changes. If you email every single hour, I tell you, your engineer will ignore your email very soon because they will feel that this architect very irritating. Every single hour change, which is correct. We are the one that keep changing. Even until construction, I also change. At site, I also change. I don't like, I see something almost like there already, but I still don't like. I will ask the contractor, wait for me. I go back and think I want to change. Even construction, I also change. Okay, but what we want is rework lah. Rework is the part that we want to reduce. If I can change online, I should always share to it, share through it, and then contractor can hold it and see whether it works or not. Okay, affect other people or not. So maybe I want to change. I never check with M&E engineer. I should always go and tell the contractor to change, but affect the M&E aircon system. Okay, but if I'm using this cloud system, everyone are in the same page. They are at the cloud system. They are aware. Their message pop up to them, email sent to them, and then they say, oh, Teck, this Mr. Architect change the toilet from left to right, something like that. Okay, and then this is the same thing. They can share all the AI boards, everything. I'm not sure you are aware on how familiar you are on this data analytic things. So this is a main topic which now in the what's that, the Singapore education they are focusing on a lot of all these board AI IoT. So very soon we are replaced by computer already. No need architect. Everyone you just talk like ChatGPT. I think all of you were using also like ChatGPT. Tell them now you, I'm not sure whether you are aware there is a ChatGPT Pro releasing. So we are exploring when you tell the ChatGPT, you type in, hey Mr. ChatGPT, give me a building, the 3-story building that comply to maybe MPJB requirement. Then they will give you a few option design, and then they will churn out. Very smart. So our school are doing this now. So very soon you will see that the building is all the same because they are coming out. They're very smart. They will give you different option, and then it's fully comply. So you don't need everyone. And then it can come with all the services. They even tell you how much aircon you want. They will where to put the aircon. The ChatGPT very smart. We are akan datang that one very soon. We are doing already. So that is what the government in Singapore we are focusing on. So the thing is real life because the real time, not real life, real time the model, they collaborate, and then anything that I change, everyone can see. Okay, multiple user at the same time. One of the best thing about this I like on this new ACC is the model. Okay, maybe you all haven't, I'm not sure where are you all now. So the central model and the local model that means the model that you share at the system, everyone are doing. Okay, so in this ACC, what they do is they don't use this. They don't touch the model above there already. Okay, what they do is they create another so-called a central model somewhere else. Okay, then every user are collaborate, synchronize to this so-called a central model, before they go back to the original. Okay, the idea in short of why they do this is last time when we do a beam 360, if you're, I think you're, most of you didn't use it before lah. It's very slow. When you open it, you want to submit something, you want to send one RFI, it's very slow. But when you try this, they do the clash. When you draw in a beam, example, you're drawing a beam, you're drawing a pipe, immediately they will tell you, because they are the lifetime one. So immediately drawing the pipe, they will tell you, bang, 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 your beam, your pipe is clashing with the beam. So you are aware because they sync it very fast. Okay, so if you are interested in this, which I feel that you all should, uh, go into the Autodesk website. I think it's free for student. You all can go and register an account with Autodesk. Using Autodesk Education. Yeah, log into your using your school email. Don't use your personal email. Use your school email, go and register, and then submit under UTM. You can go through all these modules. It's really very useful. Trust me. Since you are still new, because by the time when I ask those your senior that which not like in Singapore they are using, they are very comfortable with their current work already. So people tend to not going to make changes align with what people want unless someone force, like tomorrow Dr. Lang will force you, hey, everyone open this and go and read. And then I want to do a test. Then you all bo pian, everyone will go and open and read. Yeah. But we can't force because this is a new thing that you have to take your initiative. Otherwise, you will stay forever whatever you all learned previously. Like you all won't evolve and change it. Okay, evolving is one of the things that you all should always remember. You have to do that. Yeah, otherwise you will stay at the original. You will move. But this thing is good. You all can try to go and register, and then just type in the Google and go and find it, manage Autodesk construction cloud, and then they give you all these tutorial you can run through. Then they will teach you and give you a free license to go and try it out. Okay, you will see that inside this page, you can create any drawings, anything you put in your model, and then send the link to your friend, and then all of you can draw in a group project. Okay, you can create like certain project inside a certain file. Okay, so for your team 1 or team 2, you can create whatever, and then share whatever you put inside. Today I draw this already, you want to change or not? Yeah, I think most of your project is doing individual lah, but somehow if you wanted to do collaboration part, can try out this. Okay, if you realize inside this cloud, what I say is good on actual project is there is RFI. Okay, you can put photo, you can put submitter, you can create meetings. They can do all this scheduling, asset key, everything in that Revit model. Okay, and then when you hand over, you just hand over this cloud system to your client. Every RFI you contractor raise is capture. Email they don't capture because inside here you bo pian. Every day they will prompt you, hey, this one you haven't clear, this one you haven't clear. So you got to go into the model, you make changes to make it comply or solve that issue. You click solve, who solve, and then you will come back. This thing become the number one will gone. Okay. And clashes is just now I say like the toilet piping. So when you draw in the model, you see you can run which model, they will tell you a few thousand. This is very normal. This is very little already. When you draw in, you basically got a few thousand clashes for every single discipline. Every single discipline model you put in, there are a lot, but they are performing in cloud system. That's why it's very fast. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all I have. In short, on anything. I think Dr. Lang later we will go through the question, if any, right?
All right. Thank you so much, Architect
Okay,
Wong, okay, for
thank
the
you.
very comprehensive and insightful sharing, okay, on the beam. Okay, guys, do you have any questions? Maybe for time being, you can jot down. Or anyone on the floors that you wish to ask, you can open up your mic and ask the questions. Okay, maybe while students are thinking about the questions, I think I have a few questions lah. I think what students interested here probably will be because they are third year now, right? They are going to go out for a practical training, okay, at least like 6 months to 1 year or 2 years like that.
Oh,
And some of them might come to go to Singapore's, right? So as Architect Wong, you are one of the experience start from fresh grads until now, right? You are working in Singapore. Maybe what is the kinds of like the specific challenges that you faced before, or maybe some of the you have some of the advice that you want to give to students regarding to as a fresh uh graduates that starts up, okay, the work in Singapore as a graduate architect, to adopting the beam or kinds of like Revit, any do and don'ts or anything that they can equip or prepare first before they go out to the industry. Yeah, even for the practical training.
Okay. In terms of practical training, I think now understand on Revit. I think most of the, I can say like maybe 70 or 80% of the architect firm is using Revit, Autodesk Revit. So because Bentley is not well advertised, okay. But some of the company do use ArchiCAD and Bentley. They use, but uh basically for those like even small, medium or big, like you can find most of them, like 70 to 80%, they're using Revit, which is Autodesk, Autodesk. Then if they are using Autodesk, now what Autodesk, the package is they will give them this Autodesk Construction Cloud, and then you will buy together lah. Like Navy's work is part of the Autodesk software because it's a whole package. So if you are coming to Singapore for practice, the architect firm will assume you need to you need to know this, like you need to know how to use BIM. Otherwise, they won't get you because being a internship or practical training in Singapore, they won't ask you to design. You won't expect that they come here, they ask you, hey, Mr. Who, can you do me a design for this? Most of the time they don't lah, okay? So why they are going to take intern? Same to our student, same our student go out, they are not graduate yet, they are also considered a drafter, okay, a modeler. So they will assume that they need to do modeling. You don't need to do submission, it's fine. You don't need to know how to do submission, which authority in Singapore is fine. But you at least minimally you need to know how to juggling this Revit model. Yeah. So that's why if you are intent to come, minimally you need lah. Yeah, you need to know where is the wall, how to do wall. It cannot be like you come, the first time you open the Revit model, you don't know where is the wall, where is window, how to put window. Then later your boss asks you to, can you generate a schedule for me? You don't know how to generate schedule. Yeah, that is the part lah. But design part they might ask you, but they won't ask you to design from scratch. They will maybe most probably they will finish up the maybe 2D drawing. Your boss maybe because those old architect they might not use Revit, they use AutoCAD. Yeah, some of the architects they still use AutoCAD. They draw 2D floor plan. Then they ask, hey, Mr. Who, can you translate this AutoCAD to 3D model for me? Yeah. So you will need to do that lor. So that is part of the work lah. They might not be asking you straight away go into Revit. They will most probably, I think most of you should be very well versed with SketchUp lah. So what you will do is you need to draw a 3D in SketchUp to show your boss first, and then after that you must need to know how to change the model to Revit, as in like not change as in insert it. Yeah, you can insert it as a IFC model. Yeah, can practice it, which I think the industry in Singapore now is they are doing that. IFC is one thing that I didn't share, which is we are soon also coming to all the authority submission. Yeah, we are using IFC submission, the file types lah. So we are teaching IFC now, which is not we are teaching Revit, but how to change it to IFC, which is comply and then insert it lah. So those are the things that I would think if you are coming for internship, you need to prepare that. Yeah, that is the one of the challenge lah. Previously when I also do my internship here last time, where that time there is no Revit lah. So we draw 3D, we draw AutoCAD, which is what we do every day in school. Yeah, which is comfortable. So when you are those are not very familiar with Revit, at least you need to try out and then know something if you are intent to come here for internship lah. Yeah. Then whereas for graduates, after you graduate, you come here. Oh, UTM is not recognized in Singapore as in like our school. UTM is not recognized. So if you want to take exam or do anything, you got to go through one more interview. Yeah, you got to submit your resume, submit your portfolio. So I think most of you are doing portfolio. Then you need recommendation from Dr. Lang. Yeah, so you need to treat Dr. Lang very good. So you need all this to go through a interview so that you can register and and then you need to register and then start practice lah. Then you can take the exam. The exam is same thing. I think most it's just a sequence different, but it's same in Malaysia, same difficult. Same difficult in Malaysia. You spend the whole year to study to get the QP, which is the AL cert lah. Yeah, it's same difficult, not same easy. Yeah, I think that's the thing.
Okay, thank you, Architect Wong. Yeah, I think it's a very interesting because I'm sure that UTM is quite near to Singapore, right? Then we have found out
Mm,
most
mm,
of our graduates, some of them will tend to like
mm.
explore themselves, expose themselves in our neighborhood country first, which is Singapore first. Maybe some of them
Yeah,
come back before that lah, so that they want to learn something new. So
yeah.
probably this is a good advice for them lah, in order to know
Especially now
what they should
2.5,
do.
right? Yeah.
3.5. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
so a lot. Yeah.
So this
Okay.
a huge kinds of like huge attraction for everyone. Okay, maybe another quick question is like because we know that in Malaysia's right this is kinds of in terms of the beam supports wise is still not that much compared to Singapore. So
Mm,
roughly what are the kinds of like the supports or initiative by the governments in Singapore? Like for example, what we knew that during that time, right? I think we all just graduated. So I
mm,
heard like yeah, you maybe Architect Wan Hui and so forth that did mentions about the submission systems. It's all in the beam, right? I mean for the
mm.
government wise. So what is others supports, okay, like incentive and so forth of the beam from the beam aspects to those workers or maybe employers in Singapore in currently nowadays.
Mm. I must say that actually, I'm not sure like government in Singapore, they will they trying to push, but they won't be immediately. I think same to Malaysia, we won't be like immediately push everyone to straight away. Hey, tomorrow you all do BIM submit, and then especially when you join not certain company, most of the company will have those senior drafter, so they are working for 20, 30 years at the company. Like I said, they are not willingly to go and change whatever they are doing 20 years for AutoCAD already. Yeah, it's very difficult to push them. Uh, but I must tell no choice lah. So everything if it's coming from government and then the company got to like somehow force them to take certain courses. Yeah, because here in Singapore we have when they want to push out, like for example, now we want to push to IFC submission. So our authority like BCA, all those authority like you have in MPJB, they give a lot of free courses and give actually every week they will give you a free courses to attend specific to that submission part. Yeah, because like they know that, oh, this technical stuff they need to do this submission, so what you need to prepare. Like we run into something new called Connect X, which is the new submission platform using the IFC. So they every alternate week they give seminar and then tell those people how to do submission. That's why you got to force those worker, you got to attend, no choice, because otherwise you can't continue work. If I can't hire someone that sit there and can't do submission, right? Because every project need to do submission. So that is the part where I'm not sure in Malaysia should have lah, but you all should go and find out how to do it.
Mm,
And then yeah, for BIM part, just now I shared the website from Autodesk. You all log into the Autodesk inside the Autodesk, they are the Autodesk community. You can click how to do every single step. They will show in a short video,
mm,
which to me, to be honest, I learned from there previously because I go through a certain certificate to get the BIM certified lah. So in Singapore, we have this certified. Actually, in Malaysia, we also can get it. Go through the seminar and then you can take the exam and then get certain certified,
mm,
which is very helpful to you next time if you want to work in Singapore. You put in a resume, you have a BIM certified on which year. Yeah, it's very good. You can go through that training like just now I share. Just spend some times lah, because I think when you start working already, you got no time to go and read through all those seminar like the thing that they share. So take this opportunity now. I think third year still okay, not very bad. We are not entering the master yet. The master that the 4 5 years, the fifth year lah. So it's not as busy as those your senior now they are doing. So spend the time that since you have started with something correct, because everything from Autodesk is, I can't say 100% correct, but it should be 98% is correct because it's from them. Okay, they will teach you what is the shortest distance to reach certain destination. Yeah, go through that lah.
Yeah.
You can go through that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for the advice and the directions lah. Because nowadays, right, I think it's easy for us to get the informations,
Mhm.
tutorials especially. Yeah, I think students the initiative lah for them to go through all this in order for them to go beyond what it as being taught as well as shown in the class. So this is a very good session. So hopefully all the students you may take notes, okay, and explore further within your families lah. Okay, the members, okay, that we have arranged for you in the early of the semester. Okay, anyone? Okay, from the floors, want to ask the questions? Okay, if not, probably in this case, I think thank you very much to our architect Wongs for
Thank you,
the
everyone.
time and sharing. Yeah, I've recorded this. Okay, so probably after that I will share it with you lah. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
okay, thank you so much. So maybe we have our next speakers. Okay, if you are free, probably you are welcome to stay lah. So maybe before yeah, here we have Mr. Yip Ken Seng. Okay, hi Mr. Yip. Okay, good day to you. I think you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, good
Yeah,
afternoon, everyone. Yeah.
thank you. Thanks for joining and your time. Okay, for waiting here. Okay, yeah. Before you start, so let us go through and introduce lah our Mr. Yip Ken Seng. Okay, Mr. Yip is one of my good friend as well lah, as like architect Wong as well. We studying bachelor's in together. Okay, but he is in the QS quantity surveying. Uh, Okay, so Mr. B. Kem Seng, okay, he graduated from UTM with a bachelor degree of QS, quantity surveying, and master degree of information technology management. So with educational background consisting of the constructions and information technology. So he started his career with one of the leading construction company in the country, which is Sunway Constructions. I think everyone should know Sunway, right? You went to Sunways and so forth, or to shopping. So Sunway Construction Sdn Bhd as a core team member in the BIM team. So Ken Seng specialized in the 5D BIM software and is responsible for company-wide implementations of the BIM, as well as educating other employees on using BIM application. So our Mr. Yu is not only just doing it, but is also giving the education, teachings and trainings to other employees as well in the BIM application. And he's move forwarded in his career by joining a world-leading technology provider, Hexagon PPM, as a business development manager and work with the client from Singapore, China, Japan in maximizing business value by implementing BIM. And he is currently working with a public listed company, AME Construction Sdn Bhd, as an assistant contract manager and responsible in contract and cost management of the construction project. Okay, so without further ado, let us invite our Mr. Yip to share the input lectures for today. Okay, Mr. Yip, the floor is yours. Okay, maybe
Okay,
you would
thank
like to
you.
share your slide here.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, it's in
Yeah.
full mode. All right, thank you.
Okay. Let's start the presentation. I will try to do these presentations as quickly as possible so that we we can off on. So this is some of my back which Dr. Skip this. I will go through very quickly about the background of our industry. So the unique of our construction industry is many people, disciplinary stakeholder. So it consisting of entire design constructions life cycle. It involves many party from owner, design consultant like architects, structural engineers, QS, planner, and project management. And later stage when we hand over the building to the facility management, facility manager and the owner itself. So the entire life cycle involve many party and also involving multiple information documents and then going around. And most of the cases, most of our struggle and difficulties is the information flow and how we record and how we retrieve the informations for our own use. So for example, actually during our office hour, most of the time we spend like 70% of the time to relocate certain document or to find the root cause of some problem, but we only manage to invest 30% of our time to solve the actual problem. So because we have many informations in our industry. So secondly, every project is unique. So when you work for people, when you establish a standard or establish a procedure for one project, but after completion, you will start a new project with a new team, new workflow, and then new information, new documents, new standard of procedure. So you need to quickly adapt and then learn every time for every project. And most of the time, the project informations for one project cannot be duplicate to project B unless you are building some standard standard project like the school project one, and then you can copy the same project and then on different locations. But most of the time, every project is unique. And this is one of the famous chart to show that if we compare the construction industry to industry like manufacturing, actually our productivities throughout a few decades, we do not have a very interesting improvement in terms of productivity. Why? Because there are many challenges. One of the key challenges is the low technology. So, example that in the car design industry, I will fast forward. So the idea is actually in manufacturing industry that the technologies used in 3D simulation is very they have a real materials properties inside every 3D geometry, so that they can run this so-called the crash simulations to see which component will receive the great impact and how is the result after the incident happen, so that they can improve the design uh, for this car. But our construction industry, our technology is not as one at once like manufacturing industry. So let's have a quick look on the evolution of our technology used in construction industry. For the few thousand years ago, we are drawing lines on stone. That we learn, we evolved to draw a line on paper, which is on the drawing. Then, yeah, few decades previously we introduced CAD, computer aided design. Then we draw a line on the screen. So basically, a few thousand years we are working on the 2D environment. So what next? There are some challenges on the project. Project owners, the paymaster, then demand for more complex design, shorter time work, the limited budget. So they are demanding more. So like zoom in to building information modeling and how this BIM, the construction professionals like architects to solve their problem and deliver project. So let's have a globally view on the BIM adoption. So this chart is the level of BIM adoptions across the country. So you can zoom into those in the market in red color, like Singapore, Hong Kong, Australia, Finland. This this country has the mandatory BIM submissions in place in their country. And then Norway and Austria is two of the companies that they have an open BIM standard and mandatory in BIM submissions. So zoom in into our neighbor neighbor country Singapore. So in 13 years, previously 2010, PCA draft a BIM roadmap and then with a very clear objective like 80% adoption of the BIM usage by the industry by 2015. And then on the same year, they established a BIM fund to help the industry to catch up the technology as quick as possible. And by 10 years ago, so there is a mandatory submissions for more than this 20K meter square. And 2 years later, mandatory architecturals and engineering BIM submission. So not only your architecturals drawing to submit in BIM format, now your structural those your all the M&E services model you are mandated to do the BIM submission. So okay, look back, zoom into our local environments. BIM adoption in Malaysia, yeah, definitely we are Singapore is always slightly advanced than Malaysia, but we are catching up. So according to JKR strategy plan, actually we have a similar target. We target to achieve 80% BIM adoption by 2. So one more year or 1 year plus from now. So we let's see how is our industry ready. Actually, in CIDB, they have established a lot of BIM documentations, BIM standard, and BIM execution plan is very important execution plan. So they have a standard document. So if you want to implement BIM in Malaysia, so one of the few document that you need to refer to is these 4 documents. And then based to my knowledge, as far as I'm concerned, getting towards these years, more and more clients that include the BIM requirements in their project requirements. So for example, getting more and more big player clients like Putrajaya Holdings, they are in their tender documents they include that this project is required BIM, and then they have a attached BIM execution plan to let the main contractors know what is their requirements and how far the BIM level that they need to deliver for this project. So the main contractors like Sunway Constructions, like the main player in the market, they will read through the scope of the BIM, then they will price in the tenders accordingly. So when they get awarded for this project, they need to develop the BIM models and then deliver the BIM models at the end of the project according to the BIM execution plan. And getting more years, I started the BIM journey with Sunway Construction like 13 years ago. And then 13 years ago, we are considered a pioneer in the industry. So not much company we can refer to that even we do not have any standard in established in Malaysia by CIDB. So what we do mostly is we study the standard established by BCA Singapore mostly, and then and some of the standard from UK and US. And then but getting when the time has recent years, I observed that that the major player in the industry in Malaysia has established an in-house BIM team. like 13 years ago, like maybe one or two company, they have their dedicated BIM team in-house. But nowadays, I think MRCP, UEM definitely, Gamuda, IGM, all these big players, they have their in-house BIM team. So it's Malaysia player is catching up, And from QS point of view, actually getting more and more is implemented by using their technologies to do the measurements and extract the quantity from the 3D models. So this is the planning and the situations now in Malaysia based on my observations. And I will go quickly on this theory because you can find it on the internet or something. So, but the most important ideas for these building informations modelings or someone call it VDC, virtual design and constructions. The idea is before we build the actual building on site, we build it digitally first in our computer environments. So when we building this project in in PC, the potential issues that we encounter, we can solve it digitally in the computer environments. So, like for example, if we encounter a crash in the design, so it's easier to change the design in the PC. If compared to you solve the issue on the real building. So you do a hack and then redo the design, and then you need to, there is a lot of abortive costs, and then you involve abortive time to solve it on the actual site. But in fact, in Malaysia construction industry, there are still the contractor or the project owner still spending many abortive costs on this hacking and abortive work on construction site. So this is why we need to push for this information modeling to reduce this risk. So 3, 4, 5D, 60, and 70, and even we can go further. Skip it because the benefit of the 3D one is to visualize. One of the very important elements for the 3D BIM. So 3D BIM, the alphabet I is the most important one, the informations. Is how the informations contained in every, for example, SketchUp. SketchUp is for me is a like LOT 100 kind of 3D BIM because it can, when you evolve the from LD 300, actually one of the differences is you increase the detailing on the geometry, but most importantly is the informations, the attributes contained in one geometry is getting more and more comprehensive and more complete. So even in the 60 facility, 60 green building, you can insert in the carbon emissions attributes in every concrete elements, and the 70 facility management, you can insert the operations manual attached to every element. So when you go to the 3D models, you click on the like the aircon, it will show you the user manual of this aircon, and then if you encounter any issue with this aircon, where is the service team number, contact number, or something like that. You can insert all these attribute into your 3D geometry models. Yes, one of the most important elements of 3D is to go through the design coordinates process detections. So in conventional manner, they are using the 2D CAD. And then most of the time, there are a lot of crashes in between different discipline, like the structural elements will crash with your architectural construction drawing. engineers, like structural engineer, they like a stable a more stable building. So most of the time they will increase your column size, or maybe introduce few more columns in the open space. Yeah. Because every discipline they have their own perspective. And then for M&E, so many of the M&E drawings in schematic detail only. So they do not have a very details, locations, and even the Z elements in the 2D drawing. So most of the time, conventionally, many crashes only can identify on the physical work site when the contractor go and lay the construct the air conducting, for instance. Only they can find out the ducting is crashing with the RC beam, and then they need to redesign and then reroute the ducting or something like that. All these changes, if we need to perform the corrective method on site, is very time consuming and cost intensive. You need to spend time to reload on the design and then produce the new drawing, and then you need to dismantle the maybe dismantle the ducting and then make some new changes. So it's involved cost. Yeah. Previously, conventionally, we produce 2D, and then some will understand that BIM is about converting 2D to 3D. Actually, it's no. The actual workflow, the more practical workflow is the designer, the architect or the structural engineer, M&E engineer. They started to produce the design directly from 3D environments like SketchUp or any others design software. And then after the 3D models design is completed, then from this 3D model, they cut sections and then produce the stroke drawing from the 3D models. So this is the more practical workflow. Is also highly recommended. So if you make any changes on 3D models, all the sections, drawing, layout drawing, will be changed automatically. So it saves you a lot of time, and then it will also reduce many discrepancies. This is one of the sample produced by one of my team using a Teck software for the steel structural design. Actually, the detail that we can achieve using 3D models is very detailed. Like this is LD 500 kind of models, even including the bolt and nuts. So from these details drawing, we can solve a lot of designs problem of before actual constructions. So we solve all the crashes in and then even they can produce a very detailed material list, even how many screw, how many nuts required for this building, so that the procurement team, they can procure the materials accurately. And then yes, from the 3D models, we are producing shop drawing and even some setting up plan, all the considering with M&E ducting, M&E box up or something. So all this is the deliverable, the result from the 3D models. After we have fully coordinated 3D models, then the team will generate this kind of detailed setting up plan and then to the site execution team, like the site workers, to allocate the openings for each wall openings for each dimensions. So you may have a question, since we have a 3D, why we still generate out the 2D drawing and this kind of 2D shop drawing to the workers, because yeah, the reality we are facing is the worker at site, they do not have a device previously. Now everyone have a smartphone. So most of the project team at site, they are still used to 2D drawing. So if you pass them a 3D models, yeah, you need to spend time to teach them, and then they at the end they are still prefer a 2D drawing. So no choice, the team need to generate out the 2D drawings, shop drawings, and hand the work to the site team for site executions. So similarly, the concrete setting up all the opening junction box, how the locations of each junction box, so that when you cast concrete, the opening is there. So all this is a live project, is a live file produced by using 3D models like via shop drawing, ACME shop drawing. This is interesting because actually for this project is a project in KL, is in Sunway Pinnacles project. So actually the team produce a very accurate SCME shop drawings. So they design and then spend a lot of time to do the coordinations, then have a so-called final versions fully coordinated SCME shop drawing. So what the subcon do is to take this shop drawing, because it's very accurate. They can prefabricate the ducting in their workshop, and then like maybe like 80% of the ducting they prefabricate at their factory, and then send to the site for installations. Only left 20%, like the elbow, they do some site adjustment on the project size. So actually, by using this accurate information, actually, the SCMB contractors, they can have a very accurate and faster fabrication and installation time for these SCMB services. And then some example of how we make use of these BIM models. We have one project. This is my company clubhouse, and then previously we built a nice badminton court, but we have some issue with the sunlight issue. So previously we have two options. We have two scenarios. So we run a scenario analysis by installing a louvet to block the sunlight. But previously we are struggle. We start in whether we should install the louvet downwards like this, or the other way around, upwards like this. This will completely block the sunlight. But with downward, if we install the louvet downwards, we allow a certain amount of sunlight go into the badminton court. But how is the effect? So we use the beam technology. Actually, I'm using SketchUp to run to do these simulations, and then we compare with the actual sunlight for the actual building. So actually you can see the comparison with the actuals and the simulations is quite accurate. So we configure, because the sun locations, the shadow location is changing from the first quarter and towards the year end. So we ran a lot of simulations, and then we decided to, yes, we go for option one, to install the louvet downwards, which we allow certain amount of the sunlight going into the badminton court, but it will not affect the performance of the badminton court. So this is how we make use of these beam models. This is for the example we done. We change every hours, 2 o'clock the sunlight, 3 o'clock what is the sunlight, 4 o'clock what is the sunlight, even and the 5 no more sunlight, and then something like that. So by using these simulations, we can have a more understand more understand of design, so that the building owner can make a decisions and the designer can make a more intuitive design for end user. And then one of the beauty of the BIM is the interoperability, because every discipline, every stakeholder have their self preference. For example, the steel structural models. Most of the structural engineer they prefer Tekra, or because Tekra is very strong in structural analysis, structural design, and then Tekra can receive their design models from their design software like StepFlow, Xteam, something like that. They have a seamless integration with Tekra. So most of the time we receive the steel structural models is from Tekra. But for RC structures, we are models using another software called Quadrant. This Quadrant is designed for QS for measurements, but they can convert, they can generate the RC structural models very quick. And then the beauty is the architects for this project, they are not so into BIM, but they're using SketchUp for their design. So actually we request the architect to provide us the SketchUp models. We request our steel fabricator to provide us a Tekra, and then we ourselves we generate a RC structural models, and then we merge it together in one environment. So by merging this, then we can have run the sunlight simulations with scenario analysis, something like that. Third example of interoperability is again steel structure from Tekra, C structures from Wong. So by then you can have a crash detection and see how your C structure crashing with the steel structures, and then you can solve the crashes beforehand. So there are many software in the markets. Autodesk Revit is just one of it. And then even you need to integrate with 4D software, 5D software, 6D software. So every software have their different native file. And the beauty of the BIM is every BIM software to export to a common file format. Industrial foundations classes is IFC. So if your software cannot export your 3D models to IFC, then we cannot consider all this software BIM software. Every BIM software should have capability to export your 3D to IFC, at the same time can receive the 3D models using IFC file. So by using this common file format, Tekra can export to IFC and then import into Revit environments. But vice versa, the Revit models can export to IFC and then import into Tekra or something. On Navisworks, you can both Tekra and Revit export to IFC and then combine the models in Navisworks. But because since Revit and Navisworks is same company, so you can Autodesk also can receive the native Revit file, and then but Navisworks will receive Tekra model in IFC format, something like that. There are some others 5D software more complicated than, but anything will go through IFC. And then there are also the Open BIM object library, CIDB. They have. So for doing modeling, for some component actually can go to the BIM library and then download it and then use it in your project directly. So you do not need to model the see yourself and then you build up your own Revit family something. You just go to the Open BIM library and then download from there and then apply to your project. So they are getting more and more object library, so can help you and expedite your modeling process. Okay, I will spend more time on 4D and 5D, which for architect student, I believe most of you will go to the design. don't limit yourself. Architect is a team leader constructions construction process. So no matter how you need to you are the team leader to lead all the teams to complete a project. So you need to deal with your structural engineers. You need to deal with your main con. So you can also become a developer to develop a project. So the process for the sequencing and is very elements. So actually 4D is on top of a 3D BIM model, we add in another elements, which is time element. This is the 4D simulations. Okay, you can see, yeah, the building is coming up. This is a live project is completed. This is a office building, like 34 office building in Bandar Sunway Pinnacles. So the 3D models is generated using Revit, and then the 4D simulation, then export into IFC, and then import into the 4D software called Synchro. And then these simulations is produced by Synchro. Definitely the project schedule is imported from Microsoft Project or Primavera, so that they can have a work sequence like this. And then the team also utilize this 4D technology to run a few scenario and then testing cycle. For example, this office building, they have a 30 and 25 out of 34 is repeat design for every floor. So as a contractors, they need to have a very precise planning on how these casting cycles goes. And then the team actually produce a few scenarios like 7-day cycles, 10-day cycles, 14-day cycles, and then they analyze which cycles is work the best for their project. So these simulations is after the scenario analysis, they found out that this 10-day cycles is the most optimum cycles for this project. So you can see the entire floor is divided into 3 zones. Definitely the center zone, the leaf core need to constructed first. At least 3 or 2 floor more advanced than the slab casting. And then the entire floor divided into 2 zones, and then every zone subdivide into 3 subzones or something like that. So after they churn out with this so-called optimum casting cycle, they will actually share this video to the project team. Even the project team will share this video to the subcon will share to the workers. So everyone have a very clear understanding on the entire sequence. Conventionally, how this sequencing being managed is using a Gantt chart, like the project schedule. Frankly speaking, not everyone understand the project schedule. I think the project schedule only the planner itself can understand. So how to make everyone, including the workers, understand your sequencing easily. So actually, this kind of 4D simulations are very easy tools for them. You just share them the video. They can open it in their phone, and then they can read it. Monkey do, monkey see, monkey do. And then they also create another simulations. This is for for every trade in a construction, multiple trades. And most of the time, every trade is crashing with each other. When during constructions, right, the ducting contractor, fire pipe, your sprinkler piping is crashing with my you need to install the aircon duct first, then only I come and install the sprinkler pipe. And then if there is a delay on the ducting installation, then you will delay the sprinkler team works as well. So that's why all these sequencings need to have a proper plan. And then after your proper plan is the key thing is how you deliver your plan to everyone, and then make sure everyone understand your planning and then follow accordingly. So for this kind of 4D simulations is very useful tools to get everyone understand the sequencing. So conventionally, if the planner, normally the planner will spend a lot of time to produce a perfect plan, but at the site, no one follow. So all the effort is wasted. Another for this actually this is somewhere velocity. So it's a mixed development with large footprint of shopping mall, and then there's 2 block of residentials on top of it. So the challenges of this project is that the casting zoning. So the casting zoning is divided into 11 zones, and then each zone have managed by one project team, and then every project team need to follow the sequence accurately. You cannot miss. So if one of the team miss the concrete casting cycle, then it will delay the next zone. Then the next zone will keep delay for the subsequent zone. So every team need to follow the plan precisely in order not to delay the entire project. So this then we found that actually this 4D simulations is actually help us a lot to reduce many miscommunications and many wrong sequencings. Okay. Further from 4D is 5D. So you're adding not only this time you're adding another cost element into a project. So again, just now this is the steel structurals models by Teck. Actually, I was quite surprised when I see my colleague generate this material is very accurate till you can list of how many bolt, nuts, and washer you need for this, and then the fabricator is actually procure the material materialist. So for more than 10 years so they found that this is a very accurate tool. So far, not much wastage has been occurred by using this materialist for procurement. So this is when I first look at it, it's very impressive. It's very impressive. And then next, okay, talking about the model-based quantity extractions. QS suffering a lot because most of the player in the industry, they are using Revit because Revit is they have a very good marketing team. So most of the player will use Revit for their BIM tools. But actually, from QS perspective, the schedule generated by the Revit is not compliant to SMM2. SMM is a standard method of measurements. Is a standard established by the authority so that they make sure that every QS in the country is using the same rules for measurements for a construction project. So there are certain rules like the deductions of the wall opening. So the rules say if the wall openings on the concrete wall is less than a certain amount, you should ignore the opening. So you do not need to deduct out the opening size. So the problem with Revit schedule is Revit can only produce you a net quantity. So they cannot include all these measurement rules in their quantity. So most of the time, if a QS need to extract the quantity from Revit model, he or she need to be careful, and they need to know the limitations of the Revit the quantity from Revit, and then what is the limitations, and they may need to do some manual work to include this SMM rules into their quantity, then only can produce a usable quantity to a quantity surveyor. So cubic cost is a software designed mainly for surveyor for this quantity extractions purpose, so that incorporate this as Malaysia standard SMM2 in their system, so that it's pre-built. So when we import the 3D models from Revit, and then we do some conversions, then the quantity can be generated according to SMM2 requirements, or vice versa. Cubic cost can also use a 3D models by converting the 2D CAD into 3D models and then compare to SMM2. So this is something more go to, but for example, the SMM2, there are a lot of rules that we cannot use Revit to comply with all these rules. For example, if you want to extract the formwork quantity, because in Revit you do not models formwork. So if you do not model formwork, then you you will facing difficulty to generate a formwork quantity. So that's why this where cubic cost come into. Fast forward this because it's more details for QS. This next is the 345D integration. The beauty of the BIM is we BIM is a 3D geometric models keep loading different informations. So when we load the time information 3D model, actually integrate the three important components in construction project, which is the geometry informations, the time informations, and the cost informations. When we integrate all these, then we can have a 345D integrated 5D simulations. Like this is a sample of 5D simulations. Not only you can see the project sequencing, and then so not only you can see the building sequencing, as well as you can see the financial S-curve. You can, as a project manager or developer, you have this 5D simulations in place. You can stop at any time and then see how is the site progress at this month or next month is what, and then what is the planned cost for this stage and what is the actual cost for this stage. So for a project manager or a developer, this information, this integrated information is very important for them to manage a huge project. In conventionally, these three components hardly talk to each other. The design models, the 4D scheduling, and cost BQ. These three breakdown structures is hardly integrate together. So when you read the progress report from the main corner, usually you will see two progress. One is the physical S-curve, another is a financial S-curve. So it's because the data is not integrated. That's why you need to read two set of S-curve together. It's very US company details S-curve very down into every element and every BQ item. And then you can have a KPI measurement for your projects, but CPI, SPI is on the track or not. SPI stands for Schedule Performance Index. If your index is more than one, that is healthy. Less than one means so. CPI is Cost Performance Index to evaluate your cost status lah. So if you less than one means you suffering from cost overrun. You more than one in green area, so you have some saving from your actual cost. By integrated these three models, these KPI measurements can easily compute using the system. So previously, if you want to do it conventionally, can be yes, but it's a very lengthy and very complete Excel to link to each other. You need two elements, the cost element to your project schedule, to your Microsoft project, your activity models. So these two models is based on different breakdown structures, and usually they don't talk to each other. The relationship between these two models is many to many relationship. So if you want to do it in an Excel conventional method in Excel environment, it's very complicated, but can be done, but it's very complicated. So by using this BEAM technology, this can be easily done. It's one of the very important elements. We extract from 5. It's very important. Or how they evaluate the current health status of the project, whether this project is still healthy or we need to add more workers to boost up the to catch up the project schedule or what. And then yeah, by using 3D, and then since we have all this information integrated, then we can have a color-coded project schedule. So when conventionally you will see a very lengthy Gantt chart, like every activity is hardly is very not easy to digest. So most of the people like QS man, Gantt chart, I don't know, few hundred line of the project program is very complicated for QS like me. But if we have integrated 5D models, this color-coded schedule status can be easily presented. So for example, a green area is completed on time. The yellow element is ongoing. The red color elements is according to plan should be completed, but not yet. So it's appear in red. So we know something that this area has been heavily delayed. So we need to do something on this in order to catch up. So the other side is based on cost status. So easily detect green color or is on cost, and then the yellow color okay, just within budget and then within some tolerance. The red colors models is cost overrun. So then the QS can zoom into this area. Why we spend more for this slab? So maybe the reason is that there are some new VO added in, and then the QS is not captured. So by doing this kind of KPI measurements, we can easily detect where is the actual problem easily. Then we can focus to solve this problem precisely. And then next, years ago, we really facing a lot of difficulties by bringing these 3D models to construction site, because in the HQ office, every modelers, every BIM modelers, they have a like super computer, like 24 gig of RAM, and then have very sophisticated software installed with a very big screen, double screen, and then do all this modeling. But when we want to bring this model to a construction site, so we need to consider the devices. We cannot bring the entire desktop to the construction site. So even we bringing laptop is kind of burden for a sidewalk. If you imagine you are bringing a laptop to a sidewalk of a 30 floor office building, so it's a nightmare. So there are some debate and then on this, and later years we have a more when the mobile devices is getting more popular and more powerful, and another very important element is the cloud platform. So later stage when the cloud platform is more mature, actually every the 3D models can be uploaded into the cloud platform, and then the project manager or the site execution team, they just need to bring the iPad or the tablet to a site, then with an internet access, and then they can access to the model informations easily. And then after that, after we successfully 3D model site, then we can more benefit by creating a RFI right at the site using your tablet, using 3D environment. For example, when you go to site and then open your tablet, you identify there's an issue here, and then you can click on the element and then right click to create issue, and then link the issue to the 3D models and then attach it with a site photo. For example, there are some question coordination issue here, and then you capture with RFI, and then you tag the structural engineer, you tag the architect, notify them, hey, there are crashes here. We identify on site related to these 3D models, and then please revise your drawing and then how to solve this crash, something like that. All this is on the cloud environment. Okay. Even further, since we have and then there are some 3D point cloud technology, that the laser scanning. So previously that the 3D laser scanning is getting more and more popular now. And most important is the cost for this 3D scanning is getting lower. The device, previously the laser scanning device is a very huge equipment, and if you want to bring the equipment to site, it's very troublesome or something like that. Now, so that the technology, the 3D scanner can, as small as your water bottle, you can bring your 3D scanner to the site, place on every room. Then the 3D scanner will scan the entire as-built drawing, convert it into a point cloud model, and then you can compare. You can overlay your point cloud models together with your beam models, and then you can have a currently the technology you can have a visual crash detections. You can measure the deviations between the actual point cloud models if compared to your design models, so you can know is the deviations within your tolerance or not. So this also help the later stage of facility management, because most of the time, if you can have a very perfect design drawing, but if the site team, the site workers didn't construct or install according to your design, then it's meaningless. So that's why the 3D scanning, the point cloud for the actual as-built model is very important. So even one step further, when we combine the 3D model, we can have a deviations report, and this deviation to a RFI. Again, like Facebook, you tag your architect, structural engineer. Hey, is something weird here. So where the actuals the wall is protruded if compared to your design models, something like that, then the site team can click on this object and generate an RFI to the architect, to the structural engineer, with even attach the site photo. So this is the beauty when we integrate all in one platform. Skip but I how to integrate design models and then we up and then you can visually go and walk around and then inspect where is the pressures, and then from there you can click on the object and then create RFI, and then notify architect. Your architect or structural engineer will receive a notifications for this RFI, and then they can reply, and then the site team can receive the reply and do some rectifications work accordingly. So even digital layout, the total stations, you can export 3D surveying point with your total stations, compare it with the actual coordinate, as-built coordinate setting up, and then send back to the same environment. Then you can compare your actual your design setting up point and the actual setting up point, and then from then you can have deviations. You can analyze which setting up point is out of tolerance so that the team can rectify accordingly. So these are some showcases that what BIM can enable the advantages and produce more value to our construction industry. And then I show you what is on the stage, which is the work done. Actually, behind the scene, there are many challenges and learn from it lah. One is definitely it's a high investment cost. The hardware, software, even higher the models is very costly. So optimums previously my team when we Summit Constructions, their EDC team, their BIM team, there are 100 staff full-time doing this BIM. So imagine if everyone salary is 3K per month. So every month the company need to spend 300K just to paying salary for this 100 full-time modelers for 3D team, 4D team, and 5D team. And even the software is quite costly, and you need a computer with certain spec to run in order to run the software smoothly. And we need to even investment or two so-called supercomputer to run the crash detections. When your models are going bigger and bigger and more complicated, then it consume your hardware resources. Then you need a supercomputer to perform the crash detections. So what we learn from our BIM implementations is source for the right software, right workflows is very important, because every size of the company required different workflow and software. For example, if you are like world-leading architect firms, then your project is billion project, then you need a highest end software like this. But if you are working with a smaller firms for some housing project, this so-called high-end software may not fit your workflow well, but you need to spend very high cost to buy the software. So probably you can source for some others models, other software with some minimum feature that suit to your company. So you do not overspend or over invest on the software and the workflow. Definitely, we need some help from say previously Singapore PCA when they started to push the industry for BIM adoptions. Actually, the government is providing a subsidy subsidize the company. If I'm not mistaken, like every company, if you want to spend 100K on BIM software, the government will subsidize you 50% of the software. So you only need to pay half of the software cost, the other half from the government, but with certain requirements. So the Singapore BCA also have a lot of courses, certifications to push for these BIM professionals. The data lah. To push for this BIM. There are some similar subsidy the scheme by Malaysia CITB lah, but it's not as interesting as BCA lah. So Malaysia is still yeah. Another thing is, the beauty of the BIM is the integration between the 3D design models, 4D time schedule, and cost. But actually, is the difficulties to join these three components together is very troublesome. So for example, I take this as an example. It's a life problem we face. So when we previously when we implement BIM for a 30-story office building, so when every discipline like architectural models, and then we merge it with structural models, and then we merge it with M&E models, we merge everything together for 30 floor, and then we run the crash detection. Even the not only slow, the system will crash. This will just crash. So after that, we found that the file size is very heavy. And then when we zoom in, we found that one of the firefighting models is very, very heavy. Like one floor, like one single floor is like 20 megabytes for one single service. So if we have 600 megabytes files, and then we put all this into them, adding in architectural models, structural models, crash everything. So after that, we zoom in, we found out that the N&E team, the modeler, they download this beautiful, nice looking sprinkler head from the BIM library, and then they insert into model, and then this single sprinkler head they replicate for every floor. So like one single family of this sprinkler head on like 400 kb, when you copy and paste it for one floor for 50 numbers of sprinkler head, the entire floor consume 20 megabytes just for this sprinkler head. And then when you replicate for 34, then it's a huge amount. So then we start to ask ourselves, do we need such detailed models for this stage? Actually, sprinkler do not contribute any so-called solid crash to the doing 4D sequencing. Yes, we may need to model in the sprinkler, but we do not require so detailed of geometry. Easily take measure sprinkler by number only. For sprinkler nice looking or not nice looking, or even you draw a small cube to represent sprinkler, and then you name it a sprinkler, also no issue for all. So the lesson we learned is actually the guideline, the standards is so you tell everyone structure in when you standard to follow, how far you need to go. Like for this project, the team, the leader will decide, the owner will decide. This project, I only need to go to LOD 200 or LOD 300. Stop, enough already. So they will clearly define in their BIM execution plan. So when during you can avoid all these unnecessary issues during the process. It will save a lot of time. So that's why I fully agree with Architect Wong presented just now. You need to establish the standard, the guidelines throughout the entire team for certain projects. It's very important. And then even Singapore, they have guidelines and documents for this coordinations and standardizations for these integrations. So for this Singapore VDC guidelines, is a very for me, I find this is a very useful document. So actually, if you really interested into BIM, I encourage you all go and download this guide for free and then have a spend your time to understand it. Again, cost platform, the gist of BIM model as well as the nightmare 3D models. Because when you try to integrate with different software, then theoretically is work lah, but in reality there are many IFC. So when you export your Revit model to IFC, is actually there are some certain extent of data losses as IFC models. And when you import it into another environment, let's say you import into a Teck, then they will also have some data losses throughout the process. So this will that's why this is very important that you need to understand the limitations of IFC and what the project is actually needs. What is the deliverables for this BIM adoption? That's why the lesson learned that you need to have a detailed implementation plan, or even you need to download some plugin or connectors to close the gap between this software. For example, the Teck, they might have a Revit plugin so that Teck can receive Revit native file with lesser data loss kind of connector or plugin. So again, planning team can spend a lot of time to design, to detection, to use perfect models. But if you cannot bring these perfect models down to the site for the workers to follow, then all your weight, all the effort is wasted. So yeah, again, the recommended workflows from designer, the consultant team, is recommended to design straight away in 3D. Use 2D drawing layouts from the 3D, and then further develop to the shop drawing and some site use concrete casting plan or setting up plan. So if you converted a 2D to 3D, then from 3D back to 2D, then this process is very lengthy. And then what we learned from our previous experience is if your 3D modeling process is slower than the actual progress, for example, your actual project is already reached to second floor, and then you are still doing the modeling for ground floor, then actually site cannot enjoy the benefit from the 3D. So your 3D modeling has to be done, fully coordinated, crash detections all completed before the construction start. Then the constructions, if they face any issue, they can refer back to your perfect models. Then only they can see the benefit of 3D. If not, there is a waste for you to produce a 3D model. Benefit of and everyone can enjoy, but in different perspective, they enjoy different benefit. Definitely, if you are owner, you are developers, you really need tools like BIM to help you have a better project management, to manage your design, manage your construction process. The previous is all my experience for my company, but there are more applications in BIM which I do not get involved to, but I like to share more to you, not limit to my exposure. One beyond that is facility management. You can, since you have already BIM models during constructions, actually you can add in more facility management information like operating user manual, your service team contact numbers for every 3D object. So this will help the facility managers to manage their facility in faster way lah. How they is quickly to retrieve the informations. And then green building like airflow simulations, solar radiations simulations. You can produce this kind of analysis easily using the 3D models. With this technology, push the laser scanning in another level. So there are three land surveyor now. Basically, it's total stations, and for a large area, it's not. It's a challenges for a surveyor to survey out the setting up point. So the first technology is the photogrammetry. So actually, it's still using drone. The drone will take photo from every angle. Then the software will analyze the photo, the image processing, then merge the photo together and become a 3D models. The second technology is they call LiDAR, light detection and imaging. Is using they install the light laser scanner to the drone, and then with some GPS coordinations, and then they scan the entire land. Then they can have a as-built topography. BIM is possibility. Beyond not only limit to 50, 60 sustainability, 70. Now, One also mentioned that it's safety. Consider safety for that 9D lean construction 10 IPS in industrialized construction, or even go further. So because BIM is a container to contain information attribute, so you can insert in more and more to make use of this 3D BIM model. Yeah, we started the BIM journey 13 years ago. It's a tough journey. It's not there. It's not there to get the talents from the university. Now, UTM is teaching Revit in school time. So you are equipped with all this knowledge. Actually, can help the industry to push for these BIM adoptions even further. So for company point of view, when is the right time for me to step into BIM? Actually, now is the right time. So even if you're not starting, you would say if you starting 10 years ago, then now I already established. Then you should start now, because if you miss the first train, then the second best time is now. That's all for me. All this is
Okay.
software I use, and then this experience from this company. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Yip, for the sharing. Okay, students, I'm sure that you are being widely exposed on what's the currently Malaysia's industry have been practicing, especially from the BIM aspect. Okay, which is a good one. Thank you very much, Mr. Yates, for your sharing. So I open up the Q&A sessions for all the students. Do you have any questions? I think probably they are shy. Maybe I have few questions. Yeah, representing my students to ask Mr. Yip lah. Okay, in this case. Yeah, it's interesting that today's we got the kinds of exposure from architect Wong, which is from Singapore side, and we have Mr. Yip from Malaysia side. So both of this is definitely good for our students, especially for our final year students in Bachelor Science in Architecture. They are going to go out for workings later. Yeah, from this case, maybe the similar questions that I wish to forward to Mr. Yip in this case. So according to your experience, what is the advice that you can giving to the key graduate students that they are looking for in order to cater for the workforce with the BEAM skill? For example, according to what you are looking now and seeing now, experience now, and all the architects that you are dealing with, right? Since you are QS background, right? So, what is important as a fresh grade archi students that should equip with lah in terms of these BIM skills? Like, is there any difference compared to the one that you have experienced a few years ago, or compared to now? Or you think that okay, maybe now they should knowing this and that in order for them to manage to follow up with these the pace of the current industry now. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I feel the improvement throughout the years. So previously, even most of the project is using 3D lah. So we are receiving CAD drawing or PDF drawing from architect, from structural engineer. So and then we suffer a lot by by understanding the project through 3D drawing. Sometimes we don't know what architect draw on the drawing. We hardly imagine. That's the truth. Then we send out many RFI, and then the architect will try to sketch for us to make us understand what is the design looks like. We suffer a lot, but we but recently we found that more and more architect firms they even the structural engineers they are start doing a design in 3D. Like for example, one of the project for our company HQ, the architect firm is actually they are not using Revit, but at least they're using SketchUp for the entire project in very detailed manner. So actually, it's helped us a lot to understand the design in a very short time. Even if we have a meeting with architect, and then some of the young architect they can present us 3D models, and then we can shoot away during the meeting, do some 3D design adjustments on the spot. And then it is really help us a lot to solve the issue quicker, and then reduce the miscommunication. Some because everyone understand the 2D drawing differently sometime, but for 3D is easier for everyone to understand, so that everyone is having the same picture. So definitely, if for young architects graduates, if you equip with all these 3D if you master all these 3D tools and you equip with this skill set, definitely is a plus point in your career.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. I think currently more and more institutions basically they have started off lah. I think even from the diplomas or maybe polytechnics, they have started off with this beam at least the 3D beam adoptions lah. Okay, so currently is there still have any kinds of like complications of communications from the beam aspect? Okay, yeah, it's like for example the model is like not really complete, or is there anything that you think that the skills the architecture students as a fresh grad they should notice or they should trying to take notes especially when they come to the modeling, they should improve themselves further before they join the industry. Especially when you need the model to communicate with engineers, QS, and so forth.
Okay, I think the first thing we need to take care is the BIM standard lah. So when a client asks you to produce BIM models, so the first question you need to ask check with your client is how far you need to go. For example, what is the level of details you require, and then based on what standard lah, and what software you are expecting us to use. So this is a very important as a architect or as a structural engineer when you are requesting to produce BIM models. You need to understand the client requirements first in order to avoid any argument in the later stage. So when you establish, you have a very clear guidelines or understanding scope of work, level of details from your client, then you work on it. And then another thing is you need to consider when the entire that's why the BIM execution plan is very important. Inside the BIM execution plan, it will stated architect to use what kind of software. For example, architect may use Revit, and then the structural engineer will use Teck, and then the M&E engineer will use any other design software, and how this software combine together and run crash detections. This workflow has to be established. And then for architect, definitely is a good position because it's a team leader in the consultant team. You need to lead the entire coordinations process. You need to lead the crash detection. One of the tips for crash detection is I fully agree with architect Wong. Whenever you run the crash detections, you will come up with 1,000, even 10,000, 20,000 kind of crashes. It's a long list, and then the tips is you need to know how to filter out those not significant crashes. For example, if your pipe crash with the plastering, is not a real crashes. So because plastering can adjust on site easily, so you do not need to run the crash detection with your electrical wire or conduit, something like that, because the electrical's wire conduit can be easily adjusted on site. So you can filter out all these unnecessary elements. Just focus on the major element, like structural element with the important services like air conducting. If you manage to solve these two major components, then you can solve like 80% of your coordination. So for for crash detection, the important thing is how you filter out and then find the solid crash, something like that. There's some advice from me that definitely the communications between among the stakeholder is very important.
All right. Okay, thank you. So far Malaysia's in terms of the BIM practice, especially like from Sunways and MEs. So there's not is that I mean in terms of the communication from the BIM platform wise, we are good, right? In terms of this, or is there any something that you think still can be improved further?
Definitely. Sorry, Dr. Lin, can you repeat your questions?
Yeah, sure. As what I mentioned here, because students and us mostly in academic world, right? So we can see is that somehow we know that BIM, our government, like CIDB, JKR, they are quite pushing hard toward this. But somehow there are still some firm they are not really applying yet. Okay, maybe due to the investments and the costs, of the BIM software platform and so forth. So one of the doubts that we are trying to know is whether is our market ready, okay, in terms of there are the applications of the BIM, especially diverting or converts the design stage on the computer to the construction site, or we just stops at like AOD 100, 200 only.
Yeah, frankly speaking, in Malaysia we are not quite ready. So based on my observations, only the few big player in Malaysian markets, like Sunway Construction, Sunway Constructions, UEM, IJM, kind of like top 10 contractors, like or maybe top 5 developers in the country, they are adopting BIM, but in certain extent. Some Sunway Construction is one of the pioneer that go up to 5D in very, very early stage. And then most of the company only stop at 3D. And then the 3D is mostly up to like 300 for construction. That's it. Not many go far further more than 400, 500 for a facility. Frankly, yeah, definitely the difficulties is coming from investment, because from business point of view, if I am the owner of the architect firm, if I am the developer or I am the main con, so the every single cent I invested, I need to make sure that I can get the return for my investment. And then how to justify the ROI for this investment for BIM is a huge topic lah. Like for example, when we say we can use this BIM models to reduce your crash on site, then you can save money. How much you can save? Probably you can save like 5 crashes. I like one crash I need to hack, redo, and then 2,000 per crash, and then five crashes I identify, solve, and then I can save 10,000. But I need to spend like one modeler, one computer, supercomputer, send the modeler to training, buy the software. Maybe I need to invest 100K in order to get a cost saving from 10K. So from business point of view, they are more challenging. That's why not all player are ready to do such a investment. Definitely, the entire environment is changing because now the training cost is reducing, because I observe that many university like UTM, they start teaching their student with this technology. So for this young graduate, they already equipped with the basic knowledge of the BIM modeling skill. Like for example, the student here, they already know the basic of Revit. So if I am the main corner, so I do not need to send you for a basic training. I directly send you to intermediate training or even higher level kind of training. So it's reduce my cost, and then reduce learning curve, and then reduce my initial investment. Definitely, slowly the entire industry will move on towards like as at once as Singapore. But if you ask me honestly, 2025 to achieve 80% of it adoptions, I think is too ambitious. Yeah, but anyhow, everyone needs to work towards these directions. Eventually, we will get there. Eventually, we will get there.
Yeah, agree with you on that, because yeah, somehow we are being influenced and impacted by quite numbers of the factors. It's not just about yeah, we know that we top down, okay, like Singapore was actually I mean, this is one of the ways lah, but somehow our country scenarios and landscape are different compared to other countries. So in this case, I think it has to be collaborated and yeah, work together lah, in order for us to moving towards that direction. But somehow it's good because we can still see some of the good sign that have been
Definitely.
putting the efforts, right? Like Sunway and so forth, they have really already doing it for most of the housings and shopping malls and maybe high rises. Yeah, so this is some of the gaps that we are facing lah, basically. And I think maybe as educations, okay, our side, academic wise, we have to equip as much as of the peoples to accept and at least understands, okay, how it's being operated, right? So by that, probably after certain years, only we will having sufficient numbers of the practitioners, the people who are start with that. That's how that's similar to the way that we start from the cat in the early years in this way. Yeah.
Yep,
So
definitely.
yeah, agree. Okay, I think it's good somehow. This for this lecture input for today's from Architect Wong, and we have Mr. Yip. Okay, both of them have shed us a light lah in order for us to know that for students, especially you all, going out later after this semester or next semester, you will have be prepared for what skills that you should have lah. At least you know how to do the 3D authoring, the draftings of the model with at least Revit itself. Then the rest of it you will slowly catch up when you are in the industry later. Am I right? I think Mr. Yip,
Yeah.
once you are having that basic skills. Yeah. All right. Okay. I think it's almost 5 already. So thank you, both of our speakers. So for students, if you have maybe any questions, you can like direct to me. I can forwards to Mr. Yip and Architect Wong, or maybe Architect Wong and Mr. Yip, if you don't mind, you can share your email there, so to allow the students to put on their questions to direct to you lah. In the future, especially those who are going to work like in the beam line, maybe they want to consult you more about that one. So thanks for your help in this case. Okay, I think that's about that for our lecture input week number 5. Okay, thank you very much for both speakers. So before we end the sessions, should we have a quick photo session? Students, can you switch on your cam, okay, before we end the sessions? Students, are you there? All right.
Was anyone fall asleep during my presentation?
Oh yeah, we have Mr. Anif here. He is also one of our the lecturers. Yeah, Mr. Anif, I think he lambai. Okay, because we have 90 plus students, that's why we need to collaborate lah with a few lecturers here. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so some of them shared the screen lah. Can see that. Yeah. Okay, Fatin. Okay, guys, switch on cameras before we end the sessions. Okay, so today's some of them are online from studio, some of them online from their own place. Okay. All right, ready? Okay, guys, switch on camera. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right. Let me snap. Okay, so the other one. Okay, next. All right. I think the rest are not switched on, so it's okay. Okay, so thank you so much for our speakers today. All right, so students, do not forget to sign on your attendance, okay, in the chat box, okay, before you finish the sessions for today. All right, thank you very much, everyone. Have a nice day. Hope to see you physical again, Architect Wong and Mr. Yip. Okay. All right.
Sure, thank you for your
Okay.
invitation.
Thank you.
See you.
All right. Thank you. See you. Okay, bye bye.